Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So today, as I was walking outside, I was thinking one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time, because I really do love watching sci-fi films, and I've watched so many, hundreds of sci-fi films. And so today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 favorite sci-fi films, and I don't think this is going to change anytime soon. So starting with number 5, it's going to be Aliens. You know, James Cameron directed this. This was a sequel to Ridley Scott's original Alien, and I absolutely love this movie so much. Starting with the fact that Sigourney Weaver is just a badass. But what I really like about Aliens is it takes a whole horror element and really changes it to more action-based sci-fi. The action in this movie was so good. The humor was there. The effects were amazing. Everything from the creature effects to the practical effects. And you got to think about when this movie was made. I think it was made like in '86, if I remember correctly, or somewhere in the '80s, where James Cameron was just bringing technology, filmmaking, storytelling that really hasn't been told at that level up to that point. And that's why I really love Aliens, and it's the first on my list. And so number 4 is Blade Runner. So I mentioned Ridley Scott with creating the very first Alien, but at least for me, the movie that really reminds me of why Ridley Scott is such a great director is Blade Runner. Harrison Ford, awesome in this movie, but this whole world building, everything that was done here, and it was predicting the future. And once again, this was made, I think, in 1984. And if I look at this movie now, it still holds the test of time, and it still looks a lot better than a lot of sci-fi films out there. Blade Runner just did something that, to this day, I'm still like inspired by. I'm still curious how they did it, and the whole prediction of the future. It's really going to happen, you know, with androids and, you know, the population and just everything. Blade Runner did such an amazing job. And even though there was a sequel, I really don't feel that it's at the same level, at least in my opinion, to the original Blade Runner. And so that one is my number 4 favorite sci-fi film. So number 3 is, of course, Matrix. Specifically Matrix 1, the Wachowskis, and of course Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne. This is such a groundbreaking film, and very similar to Blade Runner. It tells a story of a world that could really well happen. Specifically that we are living in an AI environment where things just aren't what they seem. And I really love that concept, and it makes so much sense. And Matrix did so many things well. From the storytelling, to the effects, to the action, to the characters. Everything was just absolutely revolutionary about this movie. And very similar to the other movies I just mentioned earlier, it really holds the test of time, and it'll be valid for many years to come. For fast website hosting and top-notch service and features, check out Siteground, the preferred service news at GeekOutdoors.com. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below. So my number 2 favorite sci-fi film is another James Cameron film, and that is Terminator 2. The original Terminator was just an awesome movie. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, the way James Cameron directed everything, the cool robot special effects. That was just so unique and awesome at that time. But Terminator 2 just went to another level. You know, everything from the overall effects, which were absolutely revolutionary, and it still looks great to this day, to the actual expansion of the world. And of course, with Arnold Schwarzenegger being the Terminator, that was just so good. And Linda Hamilton just really brought it as just a really tough, independent woman who was ready to change the world, with Edward Furlong, her son, who's going to be the future leader of this future. And so everything about Terminator 2, at least for me, is a near perfect movie. And it's one that I've watched so many times that I really can't count. And it's going to be a movie that will pretty much forever be on my top list. And so what is the number 1 sci-fi film of all time? Well, for me, it's going to be Star Wars. And specifically the entire trilogy of the original Star Wars. So in this case, it's going to be New Hope 4 to 6, all the way to Return or Revenge of the Jedi. Those are just some of the best movies I've ever seen. Everything from the special effects to, of course, the story, the characters, the world building. Everything about it just really sets the high watermark for what not only a great sci-fi film is, but just a great movie in general. And George Lucas's vision, you know, creating this entire world And for years and years now, and forever in the future, Star Wars, I think, is always going to be near the top of everyone's list. And at least for me, it's done so much for me when it comes from, an entertainment point of view, but also from inspiration, thought, everything else. I really would say the Star Wars trilogy, specifically the first group of movies, is perfect. And that's why it's at my number one. And I don't think that's ever going to change. Unless there's another Star Wars-like movies or trilogies or whatever series that's like this, it's going to be hard to top this. And so those are my top 5 favorite sci-fi films of all time. If you actually had any thoughts on my list or any of your own, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my sci-fi film reviews, I do have a playlist. I'll leave that in the description area as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators group, where you'll get access to additional videos and content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.